What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another exciting episode of The Alright Chef. Today we're going to be doing something really cool. We're going to be fermenting. Stick around. Alright, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. So today, like I said, we're going to be fermenting. We're going to be making something called sauerkraut, which is primarily a German fermented cabbage. I got a cat up my pant leg, and yeah, cabbage. So, only gonna need a few things. You're obviously gonna need cabbages. You're gonna need a jar, and you're gonna need some salt. So, without further ado, we're just gonna jump right into it. Alright, so over here at the cutting board, the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take our cabbages and we're just gonna cut them in half. Nice and easy. Now here's a little tip. So all cabbage is going to have a stem right there. So take your knife, move this bowl over, take your knife and put it in here at a 45-degree angle and go all the way through the cabbage. Now take your knife and pull it this way, and that's going to go ahead and just cut that as a triangle. Do the same thing on the other side, and that's just going to come right out of the center. Perfect. So we'll just do that with the other two. So basically, just take your cabbage and you want to cut it into thin slices, like almost like shredding it. And then what we're going to want to do is get a bowl, and take your bowl, and literally just take, half of your cabbage, shred it up inside the bowl, get it in there, take your purple cabbage, do the same thing, mix it up, and then depending on how big your cabbage is how much salt you're going to put. So basically, it's about 3/4 of a teaspoon per pound. Try to err on the side of caution when you're using salt, because if it gets too salty, it gets gross. So I got about 2 teaspoons here. I'm going to take that and I'm just going to put it in, salt the cabbage. And this is where the fun part comes in. Take your hands and just get right in there and start crunching around that lettuce. You want to get everything nice and coated with that salt. It's going to release the water that's in the cabbage, and that's what you're going to want when you put it in the jar. So, okay. So now that our cabbage is nice and evenly coated with salt, we're going to go ahead and walk away for about 15 minutes and just kind of let that salt do its work. It's going to dehydrate the cabbage, it's going to pull the moisture out of it, and it's going to give you a nice bit of water for when you put it in the jars. So we're going to come back real quick. Now that it's been about 15 minutes, you'll notice that your cabbage is kind of like squishy. It's kind of like all dehydrated. There's a lot of juice at the bottom. It's not as crunchy at all. So you want to go ahead and get your hands in there again and just squeeze it and crunch it around again. And you're going to feel it's all limp and squishy and juicy, but that's exactly what you want. All right, so once you give that a quick turn, it's going to be time to put it in your jar. So the one thing that you're going to need when you do this is something like a dowel rod. I got a pestle from a mortar and pestle to kind of push things down. But other than that, that's really all you need. So I'm going to go ahead and get a close-up on this, and we're going to put it in the jar. Okay, so we have our jar, we have our cabbage, we have our ramrod, and now we're just going to fill the jar with as much as we can put in there in the first go. So, okay. So now we're going to take our pusher, whatever you have, and you're going to want to push your cabbage down as far as you can down into the bottom of the jar. And what you're going to notice is all the liquid is going to start filling up the jar. You can see it's kind of purple. So, look at that. Nice and juicy. So we're going to keep filling this up until it's filled to about the neck. Now, the liquid in this is going to be mixed with salt. And the salt brine in this is actually going to prevent the cabbage from molding, but the bacteria that's on the skin already of the cabbage is going to break down that cabbage, and it's what it's going to create the fermentation process. You don't need to add anything special. It's not like beer where you need to add yeast. There's already natural yeasts all over the cabbage. Okay, so that is about as much as I can fit in there. You can see it's all pressed down. It's got that nice liquid in the top of it coming out. Nice purple juice. So this is a little tip I like. I always carry these tiny little ball jars like this, and these actually fit right in the lid of these big jars. So what you can do is you can either buy weights on Amazon. I'll put the link below. They're really cheap. It's for like canning and stuff like that, or you can just buy these. And you're going to want to pour a little bit of water out, and use that jar and just push it down. And you'll notice that the water level rises as I do that, but it pushes the vegetables down. So basically just remove as much liquid as you can so that when you press this thing level with this lid, that the water is about halfway up. Perfect. So now you're going to take your ball jar lid, clean that off a little bit, and you're just going to want to put that on top, press down, and seal your jar. Perfect. Now, the trick to this is you're going to have to wait about a week and a half to 2 weeks. So every day you're going to want to check on this jar because the fermentation process is going to release gases. So it's going to kind of overflow, you know, unless you open it every day. Tell your cat to stop meowing. Stop. Can I help you? And basically just burp it. That's what it's called, burping it. My suggestion would be to put this in a tray or something because sometimes the liquid bubbles out. But we're going to go ahead and skip forward to when this is done and check out what the final project looks like. Alright, it has officially been 1 week and would you just look at it. That is some amazing, delicious, healthy purple sauerkraut. That's really all there is to it. I mean, might be a little bit of pressure on it so you can, you know, release it. It's a little stinky, but for the most part, it is just delicious, delicious sauerkraut. And there you have it, folks, a nice purple sauerkraut. Want to thank you all for watching. If you like what you saw, head on down below, hit the subscribe button, give it 2 big thumbs up, ring that dinner bell for those notifications. Only one thing left to do here, and that's give it a try. Tastes alright to me. Thanks for watching, folks, and say goodbye, Audrey.